I think the first game... I'm gonna pop up here a second. And the second game together was a guy you met, was running and talked to you about mythos things in the first game. Why do I not remember another person in the first game? I thought the first game was just us by ourselves. Yeah, let me Google him real quick. The guy who showed me the way to hell? Look this up. Oh, Dirth is our uncle, who was there in flashbacks. He wasn't actually in where we were, but he was flashbacks. Okay. No. So the first game, we find out that, wasn't your whole life Lair being kind of like looked down upon by our father, right? Who ruled the village with an iron fist. And we did start hearing voices and seeing things just like our mother. But our father killed our mother because he was convinced that she was like evil or possessed or something like that. But he kept us alive. And we fell in love with a guy. I'm trying to remember. We fell in love with a guy. He accepted us for who we were. And then slavers came to our village and killed everybody. So we took the severed head of our dead husband, lover, whoever, and took him to hell to try and bring him back to life. And during that whole game of the first one, we kind of come to understand that obviously he's gone, he can't come back. And really what we're trying to do is understand why we're feeling the way we are and try to accept that it's our father who made us this way and not, it's not our fault that any of this happened. And that kind of leads into this game a bit, where we still believe that wholeheartedly. But we come to accept that we are both our mother's daughter and our father's daughter. Where while our mother was very sweet and kind and tried to help everybody, our father was demanding and ruling and did everything he could to be in control of everything. And right at the very end, they kind of tie that up, where we come to accept and that our strong personality makes us want to save people, makes us want to do everything in the entire world to save them, no matter what that is. And we saw that if we killed that guy there, then people would see us in the same way they saw him. They would look up to us for guidance. They would trust us to protect them. And we didn't trust ourselves not to become what he was, where he did anything he could to protect his people, even sacrificing others and then eventually letting the power go to his head. So I think we chose not to kill him, so we didn't become that way, because she stated, you know, it's so easy to let go or doubt and become... Yeah, exactly. Like, she did that face paint scene there, where she said she really wants to let go of all of her doubts and just be who she kind of wants to be. But she sees that if she is that way, she's gonna end up like her dad. She's gonna end up like the slaver's dad. Because she does have such a strong personality. And she doesn't want to end up that way, but she doesn't still really know who she is, because it ends on a little bit of an open note where her story is not written. You know, we have choices that we can still make. We don't have to be our father's daughter or our mother's daughter. We can be someone different. And then parallel to that is the main story of this game, and the giants in the land. Because the slavers were taking slaves as sacrifices to feed the giants. And one by one, we discovered that the giants all had their own personal reasons for being a giant. And at the very end, you can't discover that the main slaver father created those giants, quote unquote, hypothetically, by creating those situations. He made monsters real so that people had something to look up to him to protect them from. And that made him the father of giants, the tyrant. The main one all along. And that lines up pretty well, I think. I think this game is told very, very well, except for the very end. The main issue that I was running into is that it took a while to get there. Because at the beginning of the game, I'm kind of like, what is going on? None of this ties to the first game. Not in a strong way. This is very... not what I was looking for, understanding. And it's still kind of not. I did like Hellblade 1, how it was a very... Senua was the only person here, and she's looking on herself kind of story. But this one is very interesting, but only once you get it. Once you understand right at the end exactly what's been happening. Because I was like, you know, these giants are just people, okay? I get that. They're just allegories. I understand. This is kind of weird. Why are we just dealing with a random giants instead of the actual problem? But it comes together right at the end because all the giants are part of the actual problem. They were all created by, you know, the main guy. And then they kind of rushed the ending. Because within 30 minutes, you get the connection of the giants. You get the connection of Senua's mind in how she wants to save people but doesn't want to become an evil person to do it. And then it gets kind of wrapped up, kind of not. Right at the end in the last like 5 minutes. It was a very... like, I get it. I understand what they were trying to say. What I wanted... like 1 or 2 more hours of this game to understand that. I think if I had to change the end of the game, I would make it so that we escape from the village and the main guy hunts us down and we deal with our mental connection between our father and Thorger's father in kind of like a little bit more time frame of us talking to each other and understanding that both of our fathers are similar people. That way Senua, I think, would have had proper time to actually understand the message that they kind of shoved into her brain in the last like 5 minutes. And then you could have a big one-on-one fight with him at the very end in a very similar manner. Because him becoming the bad guy and then becoming the super bad guy and then having all of his own people turn on him happen within 2 minutes is a little too fast. But past that, I really like the game. Y fueron If message alone was judged, it'd be like a 9 out of 10. Graphics alone would be like a 9 out of 10. And I include the graphics with the combat, because I kind of think that the combat was more a visual spectacle than it was actually fun to play. The gameplay was like a 2 out of 10. It was even worse than the last game. Hello, Aspire, what's a 9 out of 10? Your mom? I mean, maybe. If you're being rude about it. I called her a 10 out of 10. And after we went to bed together last night. But if you only think she's a 9, I'll have to tell her when I see her again tonight. But yeah. But yeah, the gameplay wasn't that great, and the puzzles weren't that great either. She is a nice lady. She's a very nice lady. Yeah, it was kind of disappointing. I watched an interview with the game director. You don't like this? It's unfortunate. But yeah, the game director had an interview where he said that the only time they ever wanted to put combat in this game was to serve the story. Stream pause, we're back. Oh, you okay? But yeah, in the interview they said that they only wanted combat to serve the story. And they really emphasized that a lot. It makes me kind of wonder why they even put combat in their games. I mean, from a storytelling perspective, it makes a lot of sense. But, gameplay-wise, it wasn't that fun to play. It gave me vibes of, like, For Honor. A simplified For Honor. Because, like, parrying in this game was so important. If you didn't parry in this game, you just fucking died. But, it's all visually very striking. Like, for every single type of enemy you fought, there was 3, 4, 5 different executions to kill them. And a couple different ways they can knock you down. And the one fight in the village at nighttime during the raid, probably some of the best cinematography in a video game. Like, that's like Marvel level combat stuff. That was so good. But all I did was press X and Y, RB to parry, and then trigger to do my special, which I got way too often. It was not a difficult game. It's very tedious. If I had to, like, try and justify the combat. You know, that struggles in life are tedious and monotonous. But that's just me trying to write a excuse for it. The puzzles were bad. The puzzles are very bad with the weird bubble thing that got rid of rocks and put rocks back. It was the most, like, arbitrary, super basic Roblox gameplay ever for those puzzles. They're very pointless. Apparently I missed a ton of secrets in this game. Now they got 3 secrets out of 18. And I can't possibly imagine where all of those are. I know there's a couple that I saw that I moved past because I just didn't care. I mean, that's fair, Icefire. But the issue was that the puzzles were so long. Like, they were just like brain-dead puzzles, but with like 8 steps. Like, either have a shorter puzzle that's more complicated, or don't have the puzzle at all, man. Probably somewhat demonized. True, yeah, the game is also 18 plus, but that doesn't stop people's IQ. It really does, because if you took all the puzzles out of the game, you cut this down to like a 5-hour game. It's very depressing, because the puzzles in the last game, while they were very similar, they were more interesting to do. Let's play some other narratives? Maybe. Maybe there's only 9 in the game, and if you do the second run, there's another 9? I don't really want to play this game 3 times to hear all the narration, you know? As very interesting as that would be. I mean, yeah, I swear. But I don't feel like we should design our story-based psychological video games around people with the IQ of a child. I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm very conflicted on this game. Because the story that they're trying to tell, I like a lot. But I have to sacrifice so many things to properly say, okay, yeah, this is the story they're trying to tell. I think it's a good game still. I don't think it's a bad game. I don't think it's a bad game at all. This is one of those games that, like, you're gonna, 15 years from now, people will be like, oh my god, Hellblade 1 and 2 are amazing games and you have to play them, and the second one isn't as good, but they're still so amazing. Oh, that's cool, I swear. Love to see the people that make more money than the average person be brain dead. You was the best in the story. Yeah. That's the main issue, right? Is that it's a really, really good story after you finish it. But it's not a good story while you're there. Well, good news, Demon Ace. It's on Game Pass. You don't gotta buy it at all. Demon Ace, did you play the first game? Yeah, we should probably see if they work. You watched me play it? Ah, okay. Did you like the first game? You think it was really good? Oh, not your cup of tea? Oh, well, that makes sense. Obviously, if you don't like psychological, in-depth games, this won't really be for you. I know we're just kind of sitting here and talking, but I'm just trying to put my thoughts into the game, you know? I don't really want to hit close and never think about it again. Because, it's a decent story. Not your type of playstyle? Oh, you don't like walking simulators? There's a lot of good ones. "400 IQ people have scary problems?" Yeah, of course they do. A 400 IQ person is gonna be a serial killer. Way more than a 3 IQ person is gonna be. Still think it's a really good game. But as a whole, not in pieces. That's a way to put that, I swear. Dumb people are why we have warning signs. Smart people are why we have contracts. But yeah. Good game. Good game overall. Lots of problems. Lots of problems with it. But I mean, I think this story is super good. Better than, like, half the shooter games out there or something. I like this better than I liked, what's that war game? Spec Ops: The Line? Spec Ops: The Line had a similar storyline to this. Not storyline, but, mind thought process. Very similar basis to this game. And the last one. But I don't think Spec Ops: The Line pulled it off as well as Senua did. Yeah, I think that's my thoughts on the game. In general. Also probably didn't help that I played half this game while really tired. But that does also solidify my feelings on it a little bit, right? Like the puzzles were so tedious and monotonous, they couldn't even wake me up. I was speed freaks? I should go watch the end of Toke's VOD. You'll see. But, yeah. Yeah, I think I would give this like a... If you like these types of games, it's like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. But if you're not someone who likes these types of games, even if it was a 10 out of 10, I couldn't recommend it to you. Because the combat and the pacing mainly, would just throw you out. Yeah, that's it. That is Hellblade 2. I'm glad they made it. I'm glad they made this game. It's not what I expected. But it was pretty darn well made. Just in small, like, there was some small video game issues. And then an ending issue. But as a video game in general, a story in general, it's pretty good. Pretty good.